Hello there, Minecrafters. Thanks for coming by. We are back in Diversity 2 today, back in the map made by five awesome builders and myself included as the sixth one. But we're going to be heading into the parkour branch here, and obviously there are spoilers. If you haven't checked out the other videos, check them out, the other episodes. We talked about these branches. And again, we're going to be heading around the room, so stay tuned for other branches. But let's head into the parkour branch. This time we're going to be talking about the mechanics, the how did you do that sort of sort of discussion. And I've kind of been doing that so far in the series. Here we have kind of the love it or hate it branch. I don't really see anybody who thought it was like, all right. Like some people loved it, a lot of people hated it just because they hate jumping in Minecraft. But let's get into it. Let's show you what's happening. Again, check out the last episode because that's just my thought process. But basically, this entire branch can be beaten if you actually cheated and went up into the center of there. And I don't want to do that quite yet, but it is all based around the scoreboard system. So in Minecraft, and I'm not really sure if these episodes are great for people who don't have much knowledge in map making. I do try and dumb it down, but a lot of people who are getting this are map makers or understand commands. But anyway, I try to keep it a little easier to understand. Here we have a comparator clock, and when a person gets in range that's not in spectator mode, you'll see here. There we go. Fire's on. I have this. We're gonna call it the Jasperian spawner spawner clock thing. Basically, there's an XP orb that gets hit on this pressure plate and then activates this clock here. This is invented, I believe, by Jesper, who is one of the builders and a very good map maker friend of mine. Jesper the End. He made this thing and I use it all the time. So here we have a clock, and what it's doing is it's collecting, or not collecting, it's firing off all these commands that are testing for all these scoreboard items. Now I kind of broke it down. I made up these words myself to make it easy for myself to understand. But you can tell basically when you unlock the orange one, it's testing for any player with the orange parkour score of minimum 1. Same thing over here. Basically, when you finish a run in the parkour branch, you get a point in a specific scoreboard, and then it'll fire that off. So if I end up powering this block, how could I do this? Let's see. I think I'd do it. I guess I could create this scoreboard. So this one's called Cyan Parkour. We're just going to do it. We're going to bypass. Actually, we'll do orange because it's the first one. I'm going to show you how it actually activates first, and then what's happening to make it activate after. I'm going to scoreboard. I'm hitting tab here. Objectives, I'm going to add one. Whoopsie, add one. And then I'm going to add orange parkour, and I'm going to make it a dummy. And then I'm going, now watch this here, watch this and watch this, because that's going to change. As soon as I change my, let's see here, scoreboard, objectives, set, is it add? No, set, oh, players. Ah, man, I need to know how to make maps. Players set at a, what is it? It's, there we go, orange parkour 1. Watch this. Oh, there it went off. And, wasn't sure if I did it right there for a minute. You see it went off, and what it does is it activates this guy right here, because I'm powering this. I'm deactivating that, and I'm powering this. That's going to clone in up here. It's going to clone in this orange one. This one right here, it's going to clone this exact... I actually changed that to make it make more sense from the last episode we talked about. It's going to clone it in place right here. So every time you finish a run, this clock gets activated. Now I had to do this clock section because of the 9 chunk thing and the requirements for this map. Let's just go out here. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but we go to orange here. In regards of this map, requirements of this map, you had to have originally 10 chunks. 9 chunks is now acceptable because of realms. We just tested that. 9 chunks is fine, but that's because when you're over here, 9 chunks in some of the, you see how they're kind of faded? It's because those chunks aren't loaded. There is a clone command when you hit this button, and this is at the end of every one. When you hit this, boom, it changes that to glowstone here. So I can actually reset it here. Changes this to glowstone, and also clones in this back in the middle of the hub. Now, because of the chunk requirements, I ran into some problems, so that's why we have that clock over there at the beginning. But yeah, I'll get back into that because it's the same for everything. It actually is pretty basic, but it looks a little complicated. So anyway, back here, you can see it's set off there because I have that score of 1. And what it does is it clones, like I said before. And if I remove that score, so if I set my score to 0, this is only in a reset, then it clones the thing right out. Check this out. Right out. It's gone. It's completely gone. So as a map maker for 1.8, I would highly recommend you make your maps resettable if you're using a lot of commands. But that is basically how every single thing happens around. The first step of everything is cloning all this and checking all that and checking if we have a score of cyan, which when you unlock the cyan, it just clones in this object here. We're cloning in these coordinates to the beginning of this coordinate. So I hope that makes sense to people who don't really know map making. And then the final one here, is it not orange? Which one is it? This test for here. Okay, this is actually testing for the player to be... I'm not going to quite do it quite yet. It's testing for the player to be up there, so you actually do not have to finish any of the sections to finish the parkour. But because you can't actually get up there without doing it, without cheating, then you do have to finish the sections. But here we go. As soon as I get over here, you'll see. I just have to step on this. There we go. There's a block here that completely, or not block, but it changes all the blocks in the middle. So we had a platform block here, and this glass and that glass all gets removed down here. Let me just show you that. Down here we go. That was that command right here I told you about. So you can see now it is activated because I had a player that went in that location. Radius of 0, X, Y, Z coordinates, and then radius of 0, which means I have to be on that block, basically. It activates this, which changes that whole stream to air, like breaks it. The destroy command here actually makes the block shatter and makes the sound. And up here, we're going to set a clay block over here. So now the clock is completely disabled and there's no extra lag. And then once you fall down here, you basically finish the branch. Finish the branch because you jump up to the top. Over here, what's happening? Let me think. I'm not entirely sure what is happening. Clone. Oh, it sets a block. Let's see here. When you hit... Ooh, let's see. Orange? I know what it is. Okay, so I mentioned that this is... when you get the wool, it's very, very stupid. Like a very archaic... Not archaic. Very dumb way of getting it. Basically, when you press the button up at the top, there's only... I've talked about this in the past. There's only one... there's only one block that's happening up here. There's only one command that's happening. And I've said this like in the trivia branches. One command block to activate... What am I doing? To activate multiple commands. We have one right there. It's going to set a redstone block at that location. And at that location, we can add a bunch of commands so that it doesn't get too cluttered with, like when you used to make maps before 1.8, or actually before 1.7 with set block, you had to really make everything compact. You really don't have to anymore because you can use the set block of a redstone block. But what it does is it sets a redstone block right here, and then this basically just sets the top thing up there. I think originally I was going to have this thing not visible up there, but it doesn't really matter because you can't get up there. But that's all this does. This here is really unimportant. All it does is clears you basically. Oh, there's the stupid thing. Okay, so I'll go over that in a second. Basically, it just checks if there's a player that's up there that and they grab the wool, they get the wool, it clears the inventory, it sends them back to the hub with the wool and all that sort of stuff. That's what all these commands do. It's the same for basically every branch, I believe. The dumb part is what I talked about before, because me being a derpy map maker did not really understand how commands totally work. I still don't really understand completely, but I get by. We had a squid summon. Now, this is pretty funny. So basically, in Diversity 1, I remember seeing a Let's Play by, actually, it was a live stream by Squirt Dude and Sark, and they grabbed some wool, got sent back to the hub, but because the wool took too long to get to them, they got sent back before they actually got the wool, and it messed up the map. So I was thinking when they're up here, how am I going to give them the wool? Because the give command is way down there, and I didn't realize you can actually give, like I can actually give from a coordinate. I didn't know that. So before Jesper taught me I could do that, I came up with this really stupid way, but I loved it so much because it was so silly. That we are actually going to. It's pretty funny. We're actually going to summon a squid right below that, and then that squid is going to give the wool to the player, and then we are going to kill the squid. So it's you know, if you're not a map maker, it's pretty stupid. It doesn't really make sense to you. But if you are a map maker, it's a pretty dumb way of giving wool to a player, but just using the X command. Anyway, let's move on to some of the other parts there. All right, here we are at the very beginning section here. I have a button here that tells you what to do. It also destroys this. Really, I don't think I really need to kind of explain that to you. One thing I will say is this here, this little space here, when you go to another section, this may be a good tip for map makers. I didn't want people to get confused because the text gets crowded together, so I wanted to separate it. What I did there, it's very simple. Basically, I just have a tell raw command that does nothing. So it adds a break. So you've got your text here. If you're making a map and you want to separate the text so it's easier to read, so it doesn't get all jumbled, and you don't want to use different colors, you could do this. You just hit that and add this tell raw command here. And I don't really need to get into that. There's a link in the description of how I use tell raw commands. She's a generator. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about this part here. This is kind of a fix from Diversity 1 because if you watch some LPs, it accidentally sent wrong players back. That was a dumb thing I didn't realize. But let me just go, how am I going to do this? I'll just break the section. Ooh, yeah. Breaking the map. Here we go. So down here we have some commands. And, oh, yep, there we go. I'm breaking the map totally. We have, all these are identical here. Basically what I've got is the nearest player at a radius of 2 to this command block here, actually. I'm going to send them to this location here, 561, 1022. And that means that anytime they are facing this way, they land back here. And I think I actually realized I messed that up because in the one above here, I believe, should say, yes, 0, 0. These ones are, I don't know why, I probably forgot to do that on the other one. Pretty much all the other ones, when you land down here, you face completely forward. And that's just to get the player's focus there. That is the directional degree, whatever it's called. So I've got the coordinates here, the 561.0, 1038.00. Number one thing I hate, I've said this about parkour. I've said this before. Number one thing I hate is having to restart like at a further away section. So even in Diversity 1, I came up with this idea of to just, let the player only have to deal with the jumps, not deal with the annoyance of going back. Now this section here, this is kind of interesting here. We have a bunch of blocks here move out. So what's happening, because I didn't want any real redstone dust totally, It's actually a fill command with, well, let's see here. The lever turns the light on, so you know it's on. It also activates this fill command of these redstone blocks. So let me just show you. If I do this, and I hit that, there we go. And then when you hit the switch again, it activates the torch and resets everything. Again, guys, if you're making a map, I highly recommend work on a way to reset it. And that just sets the bridges there for the multiplayer. So down at the end here, we'll go over this one. All of them are the same. Yeah, all of them are the same. Let's just reset it here. So when we hit this button, it smashes out. Smashes out. So the way that that works is we've only got one command again. It sets a redstone block over there, which activates all these little commands here. So we've got the text, we've got the quartz there that gets set, the bridges back there. We've got, this is the destroy command. So because we're using destroy, it does that shatter and that sound effect. If you don't use destroy, it will just replace it and you won't get that smashing effect. And then what else do we got? More bridges at the, so you can walk to the other parts. Here's where we're gonna set. Well, actually, I believe we create the score somewhere here. Do we not? Yeah, we go. Okay, so the block is going to create the scoreboard objective here, dummy, and then we're going to set any player who touches, well, all players actually, to that score of 1. And we're also going to clone this back there. And originally that's all I had, and then there's a redstone block. I'm not actually sure where that gets set. But anyway, originally I had it just cloned there, but because of the chunk loading thing, I made it a scoreboard clock. That's pretty much, what's the word? Pretty much can't be broken, although I have seen it fail on the timing one. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, for over long distances, you may want to create a scoreboard objective with a clock so that if your clone is out of range, when they come back in the range, you could set those blocks over there. Anyway, let's move on to some of the more complicated stuff, I guess. All right, we're going to be moving to the timed parkour section. Basically, the rest of the branches are pretty straightforward. I don't really think I need to go into any detail. I built this all in Creative and MC Edit, and so it's pretty straightforward. But this section has the command, so I wanted to go over that. This first one here, we hit the button. We've got the blocks that appear, the stained glass that busts, and you can see this. You can see this the lamp here. It's not resettable. I'm not sure if I meant to do that on purpose. And I said this last time. It was inspired by a map called Melody by my friend Thalizar, who kind of a retired map maker. He had this horse race thing, so I thought that was a really cool idea. But I want to show you what's happening back here. If I break these blocks so you can see a little bit better, watch this redstone wire here. It gets completely removed. And if you're a map maker, you're looking to do something with timing, I would really suggest doing something like that, because if that doesn't remove, the player can constantly hit this and they can keep activating and mess up something. So that's really important in this section. Here we have the clone command. All 3 of these little segments here, they clone in what I want the player to jump on underneath. It gets a little more complicated over there, but it clones in those blocks there. So it does the clone at the same time. It removes the redstone wire. Then it breaks the glass here. We've got that destroy there. We're going to destroy it with air, so there's not going to be anything there, but it makes that shatter thing. I believe, actually, there is a glass sound effect. Yeah, because you can't really hear it from back there. So we do that. Now this is kind of cool. We've got this delay that's timed out there. We've also got blocks in the middle so that it can activate those redstone lamps and give you a visual interpretation of how long you have. And then at the end here, we're going to set the stained glass back there. And in case the player doesn't make it, we're going to set the redstone wire back there so it's ready to go. And we're also going to remove all of those blocks because we don't want the player to be able to just stand on a block, have their friend hit the button, and then go through there. So that's pretty straightforward. I hope that kind of makes sense. We're going to get a little more complicated over here. So when I press this button, you'll see everything gets cloned in from below, like I said before. I've got all these blocks cloned in. And then here we've got all the, well, it's gone. It's gone. Hit it again. You'll start seeing these blocks start getting destroyed. So I've got fill with a destroy command. We're filling with air, kind of like it did over here. This here, it's a fill redstone block. It sets over here, which activates these commands first, and then there's the short delay, which activates these commands over here. So one of the things here is it's filling with clay, which there is some resetting stuff. If the player goes to the end, they hit the lever. I saw this in a let's play, and then the one person hit this, and basically the bridge wouldn't appear. So there's some stuff there that's fixing that. I don't really need to go into that. But let's see. We've got the fill command of air. Okay. So what's happening here? Let me show you. When I hit this button, you'll notice these blocks get removed, and it has to be a specific amount of time, because when you power a repeater and then you remove it and you set a repeater back again, the reason we want to do that is because when they hit the button, I'm getting ahead of myself, when I hit the button and oh darn it, I messed, I don't want to wait for all that to happen again. I hit it again, it's ready to go, hit it again, ready to go. What's happening is I'm actually removing this strip of timed fill commands. So the fill destroy commands, they're basically eliminating those blocks. That's what's happening over there. If you remove a repeater that's lit and then you set a repeater there again right away, it will stay lit. So you have to have it delayed, I think 4 ticks. Otherwise, even if you replace it with a block instead of air, it doesn't matter. That's one problem I ran into. So if you are trying to do that in some sort of map making thing, definitely keep that in mind. I believe it's 4 ticks. That's why this is here. We've got, where's the clone command? There it is. It's cloning this bottom section here. It's cloning it above here. So we're removing this whole strip. That's simply for the reset. And then we're cloning it back in. So 4 ticks, I believe, over here. Oh, this is resetting the bridge thing. So if I actually go to the end here and I get the bridge, and a player is dumb enough not to realize that there is a block here, or a bridge here, and they hit the button again, you'll see that bridge moves in. Yeah. So it's part of the reset. A lot of that stuff's part of the reset. But the important thing is this strip gets removed with a 4-tick delay of air and then re-cloned in there. And then each one of these is that fill destroy command. You can see we clone them all in here. So the last one, which I know someone has already asked about, is this really cool. I love this part because I don't know that anybody ever tried this in Minecraft before. Not that I know of, so I was really excited to play around with this. Luckily for me, Diversity 2 was one of the very first 1.8 maps. I think it came out like a week after 1.8 came out, so really got to showcase some of the commands. Really easy, actually, what's happening. We do have a reset, I believe. Yeah, it destroys everything. And it just moves back and forth. But here we've got, it sets this, kind of like that one over there, sets these commands first. Then we have a delay, and that is because we want to eliminate that. Let me just show you quickly. Again, with the, if I put that there, removes the air, and we've got a 4-tick delay so that the repeaters do not stay lit up. Watch, I'll mess it up on purpose. If I have it, I believe, I don't know if 3 ticks works. You can see, oh, maybe 3 ticks is okay. Okay, so let's do it to 2. 2 should mess up. If I do it, whoops. If I do it there, come on, mess up. Yeah, you can see the animation is messed up? It's all messed up because I had the wrong delay. So experimenting with everything that I did here. So if I change that, it should fix itself. There we go. 4-tick delay for sure. I would recommend if you're doing that. But anyway, we're removing all that with air, cloning it in just like the last one. But what's happening here is we've got all the different animations set up. This is the best idea I came up with. So we've got, it starts out this wide, so you got to think of it this way. This is the first animation. Then the second animation is this. So we're actually cloning from this all the way, like each time we're cloning from this one. If I can, I wish you could run, I wish you could fly, run sideways, to this one. And then the next time we're cloning this air block all the way over to this air block over here. And then the next one we're cloning, let me just see if I can do it, this air block. So it's always the same distance. So you're eliminating that piece of block, eliminating that side of that platform and recloning it in here. So you're always replacing it. You're not having extra blocks set there. That's what's happening. So it's just going from this one to 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 this one, back, 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 back. You can see it runs on a kind of like a repeating clock. This repeater goes through here, and then it goes back again. And you watch this, it goes to a redstone block there with enough to do that. And back here you can see it does its last clone command, and then it does another set block command, and we've got it resetting. So that is, I hope that makes sense to you guys. It was a lot of trial and error to get this thing to work perfectly, but I was so excited to get this thing working. And again, with this is like the reason I'm emphasizing this is because I had so much problems with it. And then when you go to the end, of course, you have that thing where you hit this and removes. You get your scoreboard over here. We go back. You can see it's all I think I'm playing in 10 chunks. You can see it's all faded out in the distance before. We've got the clock that gets set in here. Oh, let me in, let me in. And oh, didn't set. Oh, because the clock's turned off. Right. We turned the clock off earlier. It is off. It is off when we access the middle. So the clock is actually turned off so we don't have the lag. But anyway, that is, I think, all we need to talk about in the parkour branch. I'm just going to go grab the wool. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Not a lot really complicated stuff in there, but let's just set that up. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. I hope you learned a little bit. I do ramble a lot, I think, and I'm not the greatest explainer. Again, it's easier to build something than to explain it. But we will see you next time in the escape. There's some cool stuff happening in there. And Labyrinth, and then Dropper. That's going to be the first one where we bring in... A Brightmore is going to come in for that one, so I'm excited about that. Survival, we're going to have Cold Fusion Gaming. Puzzle will have QWERTY. Puzzle is going to be a long one. And Boss Battle will have Golden Turkey and Jesper if they can work it in their schedules. So I will see you next time, guys. Enjoy your Minecrafting, and have a great day.